Hey guys, John Clark. My power just went out, so here I am back again. Hopefully, people will find me quickly and jump back into this live Q&A. I had to start a new one. So anyway, here I am, and we'll dive into questions here as folks jump in. So quick introduction again. My name is John Clark. I'm a therapist who helps other therapists with their business. I've been a business consultant for therapists for about 7 years and been a therapist for quite a bit longer than that, if I do the math. Um, I've been doing these Q&As for the past few weeks here on YouTube, and they've been going really well. Been answering lots of questions from you guys, and it's been a lot of fun. So as people come in, I'll start answering questions here. All right, people are coming in here, so let's get right into the questions. Sorry for that technical difficulty, guys. The first question I had on the other stream was from John. He said, I'm getting my PsyD and I'm entering the my internship year at a community setting. Any tips on what I can do to prepare for private practice while getting a couple agency years under me? Yeah, I think this is a great question, John. The more you can do now, the better. I mean, the reality is, like, if you can jump in and start a private practice or join a group private practice while you're working in a community setting, that would be ideal. To be able to do both would be really wonderful. So if you can do that, do that. If not, I think one of the best things you can do is just absolutely immerse yourself in learning in the meantime. So really make sure that you are just immersing yourself in the industry, learning about private practice as much as you can, doing things like coming to my YouTube lives, listening to my podcasts, reading our blog posts, things like that. Just immerse yourself in the private practice world, so that when you're ready to start your own practice, you can hit the ground running. Giving yourself a head start would just be huge. So if you can do that, more power to you. I would say if you can also just lean into learning about business in general, that would go a long way. I have a couple of kind of favorite business books that I usually talk about. One is called Blue Ocean Strategy. This is about marketing. More specifically, it's about something called category design. I'm going to see if I can pull up a link to that book. I'll put it in the comments here. These are some of my favorite books that I usually like to share with people. These links might be a little bit ugly here, but you get the picture. So Blue Ocean Strategy is a really wonderful book about marketing. Another good one is The Personal MBA. This is really going to just give you the language and the vocabulary to think about and talk about business. I really like that book. It's super dry, but that's kind of the point. So don't let that kind of turn you off. Yeah. Yeah, do as much as you can to immerse yourself in this stuff. I would say if you are going to start, or sorry, if you can't start a practice right now, some things you could do is create a website that could eventually become your practice website. I would start blogging on that site, see if you can get some local traffic, right, by blogging. That would be probably what I would do. Yeah, start a site that will become my private practice site, start blogging about mental health related topics, start making services pages that will eventually be your pages for your site, your practice. Things like, anxiety therapy, depression therapy, trauma therapy, stuff like that. If you want to take it one step further, you could collect email addresses for your blog, right? So you could have a blog post about anger, and then there's a lead magnet or like a freebie, a PDF that people could download. 7 steps to reducing anger. They download that PDF. They get you get their email address. And then you have it, and you can keep them up to date. You can send them more valuable content that you've created. And then once it's time, if you start your practice, you have a captive audience there waiting for you. That's one way to do it. So I'm usually not really big on business plans per se, but I actually think they can be really valuable. We were talking about this in one of my mastermind groups yesterday. I think they can be helpful for just sketching out your vision and kind of giving you a roadmap for your destination, or to get to your destination, I should say. Those were the words of someone in our group yesterday when they were explaining why they think a business plan is necessary. So yeah, why not? You can sketch out a business plan. I think it's worthwhile. John says, I've started some Google Sheets and I've noted both books. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Keep learning and commit to learning. All right. Don says, how can I register a business for private practice? What's best, LLC or DBA for starters? Hands down, set up the correct legal structure for your business from day one so that you don't have to do it later, and also so that you don't forget to do it or just keep putting it off or whatever. I see way too many therapists who are not doing this, and as a result, you are making yourself personally liable to your business. So God forbid one of your clients sues you, right? If you have an LLC or a corporation, they would be suing the LLC or the corporation. That's LLC is a limited liability corporation, right? They would be suing the entity and not you. That means the assets of the business would be liable, right? Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. Obviously, I'm a therapist. I'm a dude on YouTube. But take my advice of going and getting professional help to set up the right legal structure. So hire a local employment attorney or business attorney who can help you pick the right structure for your state and city and all that stuff. So because it depends so much based on which state you're in. Again, the key is get your LLC or your S Corp or whatever it is early on, set it up now, and do not look back. A DBA means doing business as. It's just a name that you're going under. That's not going to give you any legal protection. So for most therapists, it's an LLC or a PLLC. That means Professional Limited Liability Corporation. The PLLC is required in some states if you're a service-based profession like us. Yeah. Good question. Yeah, the DBA doesn't provide any legal protection. You could have, my LLC could be, John Clark Corporation or John Clark Industries LLC, and then my DBA could be Blue Wave Counseling or who knows what, right? The DBA is just kind of what you're going by. For a lot of people, and most people, your LLC will be the business name you go by. So Private Practice Workshop, LLC, is also the name of the business itself. So I don't need a DBA. Abanti, good to see you again. You're becoming my favorite attendee by attending every Q&A call. I appreciate that. Had some tech issues here in the beginning, so hopefully people weren't too inconvenienced by that. She says, thoughts on seeing 30 clients a week in private practice? Is it too much? Let me think about this for a second. Yes, it's too much. It is way too much. It's an insane number of people to see. I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough you are or what kind of endurance you have to see clients. It's too many. For your clients, they're coming in and they're sharing with you their deepest, darkest, most painful parts of their lives. Even seeing 2 clients back to back, you start to feel it's like, man, that's heavy, right? We do difficult work and we are bearing witness to suffering at an inordinate amount, right? So you need to be really careful. I consider full-time private practice about 20 to 25 at most. I used to do 20 to 25 as a solo practitioner, and by like client 21, 22, I was like, what do I do here again? Who am I? Who are they? You just have to be careful with it. Again, I just don't think the brain is meant to do that much therapy. Ideally, again, if you could, make full-time income from 15 people a week, I think that would be a real sweet spot. I don't think people should be seeing more than 5 or 6 clients a day. I think 6 is a sweet spot. I wouldn't want to see more than 6, right? Yeah. If you want to be totally full-time, you could do 6 clients a day times 4 days a week, right? So that's 24 clients. I would do 3 in the morning and then a break of an hour or hour and a half, and then 3 more in the evening. That'd be an ideal schedule if I'm going to be a solo practitioner. Don says, I saw somewhere that you do mentoring for new entrepreneurs or therapists. What's your link? Can you talk a little about that? Yeah, good question, Don. So yeah, I'm a business consultant for therapists. I've been doing this for about 7 years now. And you can head to privatepracticeworkshop.com to learn more about our programs. We have 3 core programs. Fully Booked is an online training program to help you get clients consistently and develop fundamentals, basic fundamentals of business. My Business Made Human groups are weekly mastermind groups. It's kind of like therapeutic business coaching to build a business you love and that gives you purpose and grow in a community of therapists. And then my up-level coaching program is kind of a catch-all. It's a hands-on weekly group coaching program with me in a very small group format. So yeah, those are offerings. You can head to privatepracticeworkshop.com to learn more. Michael says, what are your thoughts on taking insurance in private practice? My thoughts are, if it fits with your business plan and you can do it and it's viable and you can make good money and take insurance, go for it. It's a great way to serve the community. It's a great way to make sure that you've got, you're going to have a surplus of clients, basically, because most people want to use their insurance inherently. That being said, I think running a lucrative insurance-based practice can be hard. I think you will end up needing to see 30 clients a week or whatever it is if you want to make 100K a year. So I think you have to be careful. If it was my choice, I would start a cash pay practice or a private pay practice, which is what I've done now 3 times, given that I'm in my 3rd private practice right now. That's what I would do. I like to have control of my business. I like to have control of my finances, my fees, not to mention a lot of people, they already have really high deductibles anyway, or they really have they have great benefits, like a great PPO plan, so they can get reimbursed for at least part of my fee. So like a full $250 a session doesn't end up being a full $250. So that makes a big difference too. People have flexible spending accounts, health savings accounts, all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of ways that people can do it. It's not our job to manage our clients' wallets. You guys have maybe heard me say that here and there, but you need to design a business and sketch out a financial plan for yourself based on what you want to make and your dream salary and also your dream schedule. How many hours you actually want to work in a week and what else do you have going on in your life that you want to prioritize. So yeah, if you're going to do it well, do it cautiously, try to get on only the highest paying insurance panels and don't get on insurance panels as a substitute for good marketing. A lot of therapists do that. It's a really bad mistake. Maria, you're back. She says, would it be doable to begin part-time private practice, fully telemedicine until going full-time? 100%. Yeah. I mean, doing that right now is actually a wonderful idea because people are very open to it. I think COVID just accelerated our adoption of technology, of telemedicine, of Zoom therapy, whatever, in a huge way. I think the adoption was already happening. I've been doing Zoom therapy with my own clients for 3 or 4 years now. It's worked very, very well for the most part. And again, allows for a lot of flexibility in terms of who I can see across the state where I'm licensed or what time, or them not driving 30 minutes in traffic to see me in the middle of the day, whatever it is. So yeah, I love the idea. You have very little to lose, if you're doing some part-time private practice just online. If I was going to do that, this is what I would do. I would build a simple website on Squarespace that's very client-centered, using plain language. I'd learn a little bit of copywriting basics, which you can learn in our channel. You could also read a book like StoryBrand. That'd be a good place to start to learn how to create marketing language. So I'd take that website and then I would do some SEO work on it. So some keyword research and placement from my area. And then I would start running some Google ads to that site in my area. That's probably going to get me clients right off the bat. Now, a couple hacks I'm going to use to accelerate that process. I'm going to start a Google My Business listing and a Yelp listing, especially if I'm in an urban area. Any free listings, I'm going to set them up. Those are going to be great for my organic traffic. I'm going to get free clients from those listings. When I started my new practice here, I set up Google My Business listing and had 4 paying clients within a month just from that listing, which is a totally free listing. So I'd set up those listings. I would ask some trusted colleagues in the area to leave me some reviews on those listings. And I guarantee you're going to get some traction quickly. Yeah. You don't have to pay rent you're running a business that's basically, it costs you almost zero, right? Or let's say you have no rent to pay, but you take $300 a month and put it into Google Ads, and that generates 6 new clients a month. Well, boom, you're in business, right? You're super profitable. You can write off your home office as an expense and your home internet and all sorts of fun stuff. John says, how do I evaluate a market? Any sites or tools to more accurately assess how saturated or competitive a city is? Google Trends would be a good idea. Google Trends, it's probably trends.google.com or something fancy like that. Google Trends is going to be good. Google Keyword Planner is going to be another good tool for you. Those are the Google tools to know about. You could use something like Uber Suggest. That's one of my favorite keyword research tools. And from there, you can just look at kind of what the demand in your city is like. Or if you are thinking about having a niche like EMDR, you can do some keyword research and see how many people every month are searching EMDR. If it's 20 a month, that's probably not a good niche for me. If it's 2,000 a month, that's probably a really good niche. Or if it's 2,000 a month and the competition score, right, or the difficulty score for those keywords is really low, then that's a good niche, right? So high volume, low competition, high volume, low competition. That's what you're looking for in keyword research. Here come the questions. All right, flooding in. Matthew says, currently in a group practice, but wondering if I were able to branch out my own, what would be a reasonable percentage to budget for plan for overhead? I would sketch this out a little bit. I think anywhere between 25 to 35% for your expenses would be normal or potentially expected. Depends on the area, depends on if you have an office, are you paying for ads, stuff like that. You could spend way less than that depending on your fees, how many clients you're seeing, if you have an office, etc. So I would just sketch all of that out and say, make a spreadsheet and write down worst case scenario expenses like an expensive office, an expensive website, EHR, Google Ads, stuff like that, malpractice insurance, all sorts of things. And then from there, I would say, worst case scenario, here's how much money I'd be generating, right? So here's my projected gross revenue, right? Let's say, I don't know, let's say I'm taking insurance or my fee is $95 a session and I'm going to see 15 and I'm going to see 20 people a week. That's $1,900 a week times 48 weeks a year. My gross revenue would be $91,200. Don't forget about credit card processing fees. There's 3% out of that right away. So add that to your projected expenses. But again, let's just say I was seeing 20 people at $95 a session, working 48 weeks a year. That's taking 4 weeks off. Then my gross revenue would be $91,200, right? Then you would just want to sketch out your expenses from there. And then you do the percentage, right? So let's say you figured out all your expenses and they were just 25% or something of that. Let's say your expenses were $22,000 a year, $22,800 a year. That'd be 25% of your gross revenue. So you just want to play around with it and sketch it out, right? If you want to go further, you can meet with an accountant or someone like that to make sure your numbers are accurate. It's good question though, Matthew. And yeah. Also got to think about the other intangible benefits of being part of a group practice, like the marketing happening for you, getting clients, having clinical supervision, camaraderie, team atmosphere, all those things, maybe free training, etc. Abanti says, can you speak about what therapists can do to mitigate emotional toll and burnout we experience from seeing clients? Yeah, take a bath, do some downward dog, call it a day. No, in all seriousness, this is a good question. And Abanti, the word self-care gets thrown around a lot and usually means like take a bath and do some yoga. That could help. You need to have clear work boundaries. You need to not be checking email on nights and weekends or when you're sitting there at the dinner table with your partner. You need to, this is, if you follow Terry Real, this is a Terry Real thing. He says you need to have emotional detachment from clients' outcomes, right? So we do the best we can. We treat people ethically with kindness and compassion, right? We follow our licensure boards, but clients don't always get better, right? They're not always ready to get better or make changes. So you have to know that as well. You will learn just mentally not to take the work home as much, but again, you need to have a schedule that's manageable. You need to have a really high fee so that you're paid handsomely for this very difficult and emotionally taxing work you're doing. Otherwise, it'll ruin your relationships, your friendships, your stress. You'll be aging like crazy. This stuff can really take a toll on you. Finally, and then you need community. You need to surround yourself with people who get it and are, in the thick of it with you. Yeah, that community is going to really help and go a long way. Yeah. Cool. Donna's saying, great question, Matthew, about the group practice, wanting to branch out on his own, at least part-time. I'm also not licensed yet. Is this a requirement for a practice, even part-time? The distinction is not going to be part-time or full-time in terms of if a pre-licensed person can be in private practice. It's just going to be, can pre-licensed people be in private practice or not? This is dependent on your state and your licensure board. So Don, you just need to do some Googling and look up, in your state, can an LPC or whatever pre-licensed LPC be in private practice? Some places you can, some places you can't. Some places you have to, have a supervisor that is running the practice or that is owning the business and paying you as a W-2 employee. It really just depends. So you definitely want to look into that first before you make any moves. Yeah. If you're part of like an advocacy board for your license, you can contact them, or like a professional organization, like, the North Carolina Board of LPCs or something, or like Association for LPCs, like a third party, organization, like professional organization. You could reach out to them. Sometimes they have lawyers, that can answer questions like that. And if you've had, questions like that, then that means someone else is going to have a similar question. Yeah. All right. Deanna says, what are the most important forms you would say I need to provide clients with when starting a private practice? Yeah, good question. Your informed consent is probably going to be the most important. This is going to outline, exactly how the practice works, what your fees are, what your credentials are, cancellation policies, all that good stuff. You want to make sure that's crystal clear and that they sign off on that. You're also going to want to make sure that they sign off on things like a HIPAA form to explain how HIPAA works and make sure that they understand how information is kept, all that good stuff. To be honest, all this stuff is built into EHRs now, so that's what I would do if I were you, is just get set up with an EHR and then use whatever forms are in that. That's what we do. I'm trying to pull up some of those. Yeah, so informed consent, a standard intake questionnaire, maybe a release of information form if you want to be able to talk to related parties or whatever, and then a HIPAA notice. Those are the four that are built in. In our case, Simple Practice, is the EHR that we use and we enjoy very much. I'll put a link to that here in the chat. This is our referral link if you want to use that for a free trial. Yeah, I've used Simple Practice my whole career as a therapist, and it's a great platform. Yeah. So, having systems that are going to work well and scale with your business is everything. Deanna says, what's an EHR? I'm from the UK. Sorry about that. Electronic healthcare records. In this case, if you're in the UK, you need to find a different software. You're probably working with the NHS, National Healthcare System, or whatever that stands for. And so in that case, yeah, I don't know what your forms would be. The ones that I just talked about are really for the US. Yeah. You'll have to find a private practice consultant in the UK, which I would love to be that person. I lived in Paris for a while until last year, and was spending a lot of time in the UK, and would love to do training with therapists there, because there's a lot of you guys and there's not a whole lot of business teaching there in the UK. So Deanna, maybe you can fly me over. I'll do a workshop with you and some therapists, and then eat fish and chips and be merry. That would be great. I love British people. Kiba says, what about no-show policies? Yeah, your no-show policies would be in your informed consent. That's crucial. Definitely want to make sure you have that in there. I've always done 48 hours or the fee occurs. So I recommend that. Some people do 24, but I do 48. John says, do you know how often people find therapists via Google searches? The Google Trends data seems to be very low from what I can see. That's where you're going to find it, right? And so it depends on your area, John. If you're in a rural area or an area that's not super populated, people might not go to Google as much as a place like, say, San Francisco, where I live. So all depends on where you live. Kiva says, can you work abroad and still counsel in the USA? I would love to. I can't answer it, to be honest. I don't know. It depends on your board. It depends on your risk tolerance. I would just want to look into your board. Sometimes the board will say you just need to be licensed in the place where your client is. Sometimes they'll say you need to be licensed where your client is and where you are, or you need to be in the state where your client is. Just depends. Theoretically, I think you should be able to see them if you're licensed in that state, but it's not up to me. Kelly is back. I remember you because of trying to say Mississauga. It's not that hard. Kelly says, how important is branding for a therapist just starting out? I'm getting my MA next month and going right into private practice. I've been agonizing over name, logo, colors, etc. Not that important right now. What's more important, so this is what I would do if I were you, Kelly. Create a Squarespace site, super simple template on there. If you want to go one step further, there's this company that these Squarespace templates that I like to use. Go live. Okay, sorry about that. Here, I like to use these templates. Again, this is a referral code if you guys want to use these, but these are really beautiful custom templates for Squarespace. This is going to get you effectively what will look like a custom Squarespace site without having to do all the designing. So this is really great. It's a couple $100 for the templates. These are amazing. So I'd buy one of these. In terms of the name, probably go with something generic that you can grow into and brand well over time. So I wouldn't necessarily do your name because you're going to grow out of that. Or if you ever want to hire people, then you got to rebrand the whole thing. We learned that the hard way. Colors, pick 2 colors that are kind of have the vibe of your practice or of you, and don't look back. You'll want to find the hex codes for those 2 colors so you can use them in everything. HEX, hex codes. Those colors, yeah. I got started a little late today, guys, because the internet crashed, so I'll be here for about 5 more minutes. If you got burning questions, say them now. Yeah, thanks for your patience, guys. Tim is back. Hey, Tim, good to see you again. He says, just saying hi. Thanks for sharing experiences this way, making it so accessible. No problem. Happy to do this, guys. Like I mentioned, I've been doing this now. I've been helping therapists with business for about 7 years now. I'm a therapist myself, and I love this work. So if you want to find out more about me, head to privatepracticeworkshop.com. Don says, I've heard that when you start a practice, you can do paper or EHR. In terms of your experience, what's a better way to organize? 100% in EHR. Yeah. You need to have systems to scale from day one, right? I don't want to be finding papers like, God forbid, a few years from now, I need to look up clinical notes or something. I mean, it's 2021. Clients expect a certain level of technology to be involved in the process too. Like, simple practice, you can do their online scheduling. They can book their own appointments. They can get a super bill. They get appointment reminders. Their credit card is billed automatically through the platform. It's amazing. It's a great, very high-tech experience, and that's really what you need, given it's 2021, especially for younger people too. Zane says, how do you get private pay cash clients? Well, it's not really how do you get private pay clients, it's how do you get clients and get enough inquiries knowing that some clients will want to use insurance and some will be okay with private pay. Yeah. So I'm very Google obsessed. You need a good website. Again, ideally Squarespace or WordPress website. And then you got to focus on getting traffic with Google, both paid and organic. So Google Ads and SEO. We teach all this in our fully booked program. You can learn more at privatepracticeworkshop.com. That's a good question. Kiva says, how much does it cost to start your own small private practice? Pretty sure I have a blog about this. Let me just Google my own site real quick. Yeah, I have a list with this somewhere. Yeah. Okay, I don't have a list for exactly that, but there's a link here for a blog post about kind of how to start a practice, how to sketch out your fees, how to market, some of my key kind of steps for, yeah, I do have kind of a budget here. I have, malpractice insurance. You need a way to collect money. I think that should be your EHR. You need a website. I've got examples here, recommendations here. Then you need to make a place to meet your clients, whether that's in person or online. Yeah, good question. So check out that blog post. It should really have everything you need. Deanna says, any recommended sites to get clients to sign documents online? Yeah, the simpler the better. I mean, something like DocuSign is probably the best, but it's going to be expensive. So I'm sure there's better resources. I would just Google around a little bit, especially for UK stuff. Otherwise, you could create a PDF that is fillable or signable and have them sign electronically and just email it back to you. That might be an easy workaround. Like 2 minutes left, guys. Any final questions? Any fun questions? I got a fun one last time. It was like, what was it? Mountains or beach, I think. Or like, if you had to build a sailboat, how would you do it? Something funny like that. I don't think my answer was as funny as it could have been, though. So that one kept me up at night. I was laying there for days thinking about how I'd build my sailboat. The My Movement says, did you watch The Sopranos? I didn't, and I feel like I'm missing out. Right now I'm watching a show on HBO called Succession. It's amazing, so good. It's a drama about basically a rich family in New York. If you're a therapist, you would love it. It's very, very drama heavy, very dysfunctional. There's some heavy drug use in there too. Yeah, I should watch The Sopranos. I really should. I feel like it's almost too late now because it's been a while and I haven't seen it, and it's kind of embarrassing. I'll consider it because I think it's on HBO. Yeah. Don says, is it possible to start a business before the end of 2021 and scale it to about 3 figures? What is 3 figures? How much is 3 figures? The Bear says, do you watch Mr. Beast? Yeah, I do watch Mr. Beast. I love YouTube. I was saying earlier, I watch YouTube instead of Netflix and stuff. I like Mr. Beast. I'm just a big fan of YouTubers in general. Don, let me know like what your income goal would be, but I'm probably going to say yes, it's possible to start it and grow it before the end. Oh, to 6 figures. Yeah, to 6 figures. I was going to say 3 would be like $100, which I think you can do by the end of 2021. Is it possible? Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you want to be making 6 figures, you're making a little over 8,000 a month. I would just, divide that, like, let's say 8,000 a month, or really it's more like, so 100,000, let's say gross revenue divided by 12 is 8,333.33333 per month, divided by, let's say you see 20 clients a week. That's 80 clients. You'd be charging about 104 per session. That's just for your gross revenue, something like that, 20 clients a week. Finding the clients will be the hard part, though. Marketing the practice that fast will be hard, but it's possible. Favorite NFL team, very unfortunately, is the Washington football team. I almost messed up there. Yeah, very unfortunate for me. But I'm from Virginia. Got to do it. My favorite video game, shameful, is Rocket League. It's a basically remote control car video game where you're playing soccer. The bear says, by the way, if I sound like a kid, it's because I'm 8 years old. That's awesome. I don't know why you're on a private practice channel with a bunch of therapists learning about business, but I should be on my best behavior. Turning 9 this month. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. That's great. Yeah, my favorite video game is Rocket League. Okay, any other questions before I wrap up? It's been fun. You guys have definitely put me to work. Yeah, these have been really fun. I'm happy to help you guys. Again, if you want regular help, then joining one of our paid programs would be a great next step for you. Privatepracticeworkshop.com is all you got to do. I won't be doing live the next 2 weeks. I don't think. I'll be busy next week, and then the week after that, I'm going to Tahoe for some snowboarding, hopefully, if there's snow left for me. And then I'll be back for YouTube Live. So just keep an eye out. Actually, let's just schedule one right now, huh? That's what we like to do, and I think that's nice to do. So we'll do another YouTube Live Thursday the 25th at 3 p.m. I'll schedule that one out, and that way you guys know that it'll happen. Sorry, 3 p.m. Pacific. So Thursday, the 25th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and everything in between. And if you're in the UK like Deanna, it's going to be a late one for you. Yeah. All right, guys, that's all I've got for now. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share it with friends. Watch lots of videos. Like all the videos. Give them that thumbs up. Leave comments. I need your help growing this channel. I really want this channel to be #1 in the industry, and we're really close. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers. Take care of yourselves.